The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Hello and welcome back to the Icons of Real Estate Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Timothy Kaitano, and today I'm excited. I'm excited because we have a special guest in the house today, and he's going to be sharing some good info. So I got some advice for you. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to do this. Get your notebook, get your pen. Call a friend, share a link, get them to tune in because you do not want to miss this. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the amazing, the luminary in real estate, Nick Disney. Welcome to the show.
I appreciate it, Tim, and thanks for having me, man. Thanks.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you. Man, you're such a cool guy, man. And I think a lot of our audience are like, oh, why is it cool? And I think they have to know why you're a cool guy. Can you start by telling us your real estate story? How did you get into real estate? And what motivated you to get started with it?
Sure. And I think that's part of the story that resonates with a lot of people because I was just a one house at a time. If I could get one property that produced income and then, maybe I would get two and kind of grow from there. But it really started similar to a lot of people. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I was like, wow, this idea could really work. And then I read some more books and I finally got myself to pull the trigger. And that first property is a huge deal because it's a big milestone. It's a big, getting over the fear of it. And slowly, but surely, just brick by brick over time, we're able to build it up and super fortunate. Now we focus on long-term cash flow with both the rentals and the mortgage notes. And it's just very, very blessed to have come down this road. Not always smooth, but definitely worth it.
Mm-hmm. So, what inspired you to venture into the real estate market, and how did sell my San Antonio house come into fruition?
It was I was looking for something, you have that 9 to 5 job, and I was looking for something that could produce income on the side that I could do, I felt comfortable with, and something I understood. Investing in stocks and things like that. That's not my forte. I'm not against it, but I don't fully understand it, but I understand the house. I felt like I was fairly handy and could learn more. And I like the fact that I could do it part-time, as you're starting out and build some long-term residual income. And there's a potential to take it as far as you want to take it that fits for you. That's what got me excited. And then as it started to grow and become more of a business, sell my San Antonio house, and then you start, having a presence and a web presence and social media, and it's really just kind of taken off from there.
You mentioned that you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I've spoken to a lot of successful people that have read that book. Was this before you got into real estate or after you got into real estate? It was before?
That was before. I didn't come from a background of real estate investors or property owners or anything like that. I read it and I thought, okay, it just made a lot of sense. Like, well, how do I acquire things that will pay me long term, month after month, and how do I acquire them? And then, somebody who lives there will help pay for them. And I was like, okay, well, I could do that, and you could start small and you can grow from there. You really does just start with that one house and see how far you want to take it.
Wow. And yeah, man, you got started with the house and now you here. Can you share some, key milestones or challenges that you encountered during the growth of selling my San Antonio house?
It was not without challenges.
Yeah.
I always say that the biggest milestone is the first house
Mm,
because it's so hard for people to get over the fear of jumping into something when they're not completely confident in the outcome. People understand like, well, real estate works, but they get in their head and no one's immune from it of thinking all these things that could go wrong and instead of focusing on all the things that could go right and finding some balance. So the first house is the biggest milestone, but the as we built building the rental portfolio has been great. Learning about other pieces that and how you can put those pieces together was probably a really big milestone because I spent years wholesaling and flipping and buying rental property before someone taught me that I could own finance them and make mortgage notes and how that works for the cash flow part of your business. That's probably the second biggest milestone. And then biggest challenge is probably learning how to work with different banks as you grow larger. You need more funding, and private lending is great, and you can run a long, long time. But there's also banks have a lot of money. So once you learn how to work with them and structure your business that they're excited about it, it can again be another. They just catapult you and take you, allow you to do more things, let you take it to another level of success. Those are big milestones, and they all came with challenges.
Now, if you could go back in time and
Oh,
advise the younger Nick, um, you know, just as you're getting into this industry, what advice would you give your younger self?
I would I would look back and not just look to do more deals. I would make a better plan when I started, really focused on what I'm trying to create. Why am I doing this and why is it so important to me? Because I think all the different pieces, flipping houses versus renting houses versus wholesaling houses versus mortgage notes,
Mm,
they all work in the same single family space. They're all good and they all provide something, but they will give you a very different outcome. And if I could
mm.
go back and start a little sooner, really driven toward what I was looking for, I would have gotten there faster. And the second piece I would do is 100%. I would much earlier in my career, I would look for people who had done what I wanted to do and how can I add value to them because I've had some great mentors that have helped me. And when I finally saw that if I could add value to them, they were going to add value back to me tenfold. It just was really, really a game changer. And there's a lot of great people in this industry that a lot of people will ask for their time, but if you can find a way to add value to them, what they give you back, you can use for a lifetime, and is way more than whatever you have to put in.
Wow. Well, thank you, man. I always ask that question because I believe that there are always people that, are at the point where you start,
Mhm.
and they can really use the advice that you just gave right now to point them in the right direction, to know exactly what they need to do in order to be successful in their business. And what role would you say that mentorship has played, in you building this successful business?
I mean, I did a lot of the work, but I didn't do it on my own. And the
Mm,
way the mentors, like they've just seen everything that you're going to run into and you talk to them and they see which problems, they see a lot of the problems you don't see yet, but they also see the ones that aren't really problems, right? And they're like, hey, that's not what's going to happen. This is what you need to do. It just, if you're looking to grow faster, is an absolute game changer. When I've had some people that have helped me tremendously. And even some of those when I thought I was pretty good at this and just would open up a whole nother level and a whole nother world of, hey, well, why haven't you done this and this and this? And I never even thought about these things. And when you start to implement those things, that's why the people got to where they are. And when they're willing to share that back with you, it's a huge value especially if you're looking to go to another level, if you're looking to avoid some pitfalls, or if you're looking to grow faster.
That's good, man. That's good. Man, so right now, as we talking about real estate, how has the real estate landscape in San Antonio evolved since you first started? And what trends do you foresee shaping its future right now?
Yeah. When I first started, a lot of people thought it was tough. I mean, this was right after the year crash there in '08.
Mm,
I was new, and there was opportunity, because it was difficult to move a property. And so since then, the market slowly grew. It slowly grew. So if you bought some properties and hung on to them, you slowly grew. But then, everything changed a few years ago after COVID, and you I mean, we couldn't get enough properties to sell them fast enough, because everybody was looking to buy. And so the market just took off, and all you had to do is, almost buy a property and you were going to profit,
yeah,
which was great. And but now that's just not the case. Things have turned. It's more normal. You really have to be particular specific about what you're going to buy and why you're going to buy it. It's a little more difficult for a lot of people to make things cash flow because they were used to these low interest rates from a few years ago. I was not used to that because when I started, we were still getting them 6, 7 percent, a little more just to borrow the money. And you had to figure out a way to make that work where that's coming back around now. It's definitely removed some people from the market, but when more buyers leave the market, there's opportunity, right? It's supply and demand. So there is absolutely still opportunity. We're still doing deals, friends of mine, people I know, they're still doing plenty of deals. There's still opportunity for people to grow. But I would be, I would not want to be the person who sits around and says, "Hey, I'm just going to wait till these rates come back to 3%." I think you're going to be waiting a long time, and time is a huge factor in winning in this game. When you own property over time, we all know somebody who's owned a house for so long and they bought it for pennies and now it's worth more. Even if the cycle goes, if you're just going to wait around and you don't jump in, you're going to miss that time factor, which is really, really beneficial when you're investing in real estate.
yeah, and that's what a lot of people are doing right now because we get that question a lot. We get people asking, "Is this the right time to buy a house? Is this the right time to invest in property?" And what I hear from a lot of people is, "Look, it all depends with what your goals are. You know what you want to achieve, and what you're saying right now is, if you are on that side that you just like, okay, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till the interest rates go down a bit. You might be waiting for a very long time. So, for our audience listening to this right now, and for someone that's undecided, just share with us, why this would be, the best time to actually invest in property.
Yeah, do not wait. Find a
Mm,
deal that works at today's numbers. You're not looking for a deal that worked at 2 years ago or 2 years in the future. Find a
mm,
deal that works at today's numbers and do not wait. That's what you need to be looking for. You can't buy based off of the past. And so that's why, and things will come up. Every real estate market in history has gone down and up. They will come back up, especially if you're looking at a long-term property. If you can get in there, I don't think you want to be negative on cash flow by any means, but if you can get in there, yeah, you may not be as positive as you want, but over time, you're going to look back and instead of waiting a few years, you're going to say, man, I bought that one then, and now it's worth this. And man, what a smart guy I am. You're going to
mm,
feel a lot better than if you said, man, I just waited around and waited around.
yeah.
The time is a huge factor. Um, there are more deals out there because people become more motivated when there's not as many buyers. So I would look for a really good deal by today's standards, and you need to pull the trigger, and think of it long term, like what works in the long run.
Yeah. And can you shed some light on, on criteria or factors you should consider when selecting properties to invest in and renovate?
You know, we love the lighter renovation. We've
Mm,
done all kinds of renovations. And we typically we advise people to look for that lighter renovation. We like a renovation because you go in, you do some renovation, you add value to it. Even if you're going to keep it as a rental, if you want to turn around, so you need to do something to add value to the property. But just because we're capable of doing these huge full gut, $150,000 renovation products, I have no desire to do it. And what happens that people don't always recognize, the bigger the project, you are going to have more risk. So, the longer the scope of work, the more things that need to be done, the more it's going to be uncovered. It does increase your risk. And it's not necessarily worth it most of the time. I advise people and what we look for a project that is faster turnaround, even though it has a rehab. Like, how fast can we get this project done? Because once we put the money out, we want to finish the project. We want to get producing income, and then we want to take the money and then be able to deploy it again into another project. So I would say for the majority of people, especially if you're starting out, you don't need some giant HGTV. We did an addition and ripped out everything and full gut transformation. Look for something where you can go in, do a fast, efficient rehab and get it where it's producing. And then as you get more experience, if you want to do bigger projects, you'll just be better prepared for them.
all right. Thank you so much, Nick. Nick, allow me to take this special moment to give a shout out to today's sponsor, and that is the Icons of Real Estate Podcast Network. We are passionate about producing real estate podcasts. So, whatever your real estate podcast dreams are, we are here to bring them to life. So, my question to you is what would if you were to start your real estate podcast, what would you call it? Comment down below. And hey, look, we might just reach out to you and help you get started with that. Nick, if you were to start a real estate podcast, what would you call?
I would probably call it long-term cash flow with real estate, something like that, because that's really our focus. There's more than one way to produce cash flow. You don't just need to be a landlord.
Yeah.
Um, but I love long-term cash flow. I'm passionate about it. I believe pretty much anybody can do it, whether you're handy or know much about houses. So, um, yeah, long-term cash flow in real estate would probably be something along those lines.
Oh, long-term cash flow. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. If you want to get started with your real estate podcast, reach out to the Icons of Real Estate Podcast Network, and we'll help you get started. The details are in the description or on your screen right now. So reach out, and we will help you out. Now, back to this exciting conversation, man. Nick, um, if you were to give advice to aspiring real estate entrepreneurs looking to embark on a similar journey of property investment and flipping, what would it be? How would you advise them, in today's market?
I think in today's market, I think in any market, I think they have to focus on simple things. People want massive results, and if you want massive results, you have to take massive action.
Mm,
Um, this is not the lottery. You're not going to buy a ticket and cross your fingers. Massive results takes massive action. Make sure you have a clear-cut plan with executable steps that you can do. And focus on three phases. You need to educate yourself. You can't just jump in there with nothing. But once you educate yourself, I know a lot of people who educate themselves for years and years and years and don't do anything. You can't make any money like that. So educate yourself, then make the plan and know what you're going to execute on, and then have something that holds you accountable. And so if you follow kind of those three things and those three buckets, that is the best plan I know for success. And focus on the things that drive the needle forward. And I'm going to give you guys a pro tip.
yeah, all
It's
right.
deals and money. All right. I know a
Yeah,
lot of people say you got to go out and build this team and you need this and you need that. You
yeah.
need good deals and you need money to do those deals. Those are the two main things. And if you focus on actions that deliver those, you're going to be a lot better off.
All right. Thank you so much for that, man. Now, Nick, when I look at, when I listen to your story, you say you started at a time where most people did not make it to where you are right now. You went through times where people were really unsure about the future, and you went through different challenges. Heck, you even went through COVID, and your business is still standing right now. It's just a testament of certain values or habits and characteristics that you have. What are some of the habits that you would advise a real estate investor, a person that wants to go in and start flipping homes, to have in order to be where you are today?
Well, I appreciate it. I think I think you have to want to work hard. Um, there's a lot of bumps along the road, and I think so. Wanting to work hard will help you drive forward when it gets tough. It's the pillar to our success here, but also it's going to be okay, right? Almost every house I've ever bought had some kind of surprise, big or small. It's okay. You're going to be okay. You got to continue to push forward when times are tough. That resilience, hard work and resilience is probably the two biggest factors, that helped us continue to be successful over time. Um, and it's not typically when you build a business like this, it's not something that you're going to build overnight. As much as, we'd all love to have a little bit of patience with yourself as you're building the business. You don't have to become a millionaire tomorrow, but you can definitely do it over time if you continue to take the right steps. It's 100% available for you. So, yeah, hard work, resilience, and a little bit of patience with yourself will go a long, long way.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that. Hard work, resilience, and patience. I think that is key right there. And thank you so much for sharing that, man. Now, for our audience that want to reach out to you, man, how can they do that? I know that people are reaching out and like, hey, I want to see what you and the team are up to right now.
Mhm.
So, can you tell us what you and your team are up to, and how can we get in touch with
Sure. So, we're actively investing here in San Antonio
you? Yeah.
um, every single day. And so you can definitely find us on the website, sellmysanantoniohouse.com, or, if you want to shoot me an email, it's just nick@sellmysanantoniohouse.com. And then we're pretty active on Instagram. So real estate underscore Nick, and then the number one. Definitely can reach out to. Feel free to send me a message if you got a question. Or if there's some way we can help you or we can connect and help each other, we'd love to hear from you. We love talking real estate. So um, that's the best way to see what we're doing or get a hold of us.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that. You know how to get a hold of him right now. And if I were you, and I was in San Antonio, I would definitely reach out to Nick. Nick, you have been an amazing guest. Thank you so, so much, man. You are an amazing person. You are an inspiration to a lot of people that definitely want to get into this business. And I feel like this episode will definitely motivate a lot more people to get into the world of real estate. With everything that you've shared, I believe this will empower people to be successful in this field. So thank you so, so much, man.
Hey, no, awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for having me, man.
All right. Hey, look, I know you're gonna have yourself a great weekend. I mean, you started off good. You started off the day with some wins today.
Hmm.
So hey, it's gonna be a good weekend, man. So from me and the Icons team, thank you so much. This has been amazing. This has been truly, truly amazing, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you got this far and you feel like this has added value in your life, and I know it did, right? Share this with a friend, share this with your social circle, and trust me, they will love you forever. It has been your host, Timothy Kaitano, with the amazing Nick Disney. We will see you guys again. Take care.